Okay, so something I wanted to share was just something I thought of, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can definitely share my opinion on this because one thing that through my whole experience with baby loss is how when people ask me how I am or how I've been, or even like when, for those who do know, and for those who were close to me, and I was able to share that with them kind of closer to the time without actually feeling shame around talking about it. For those people, there were moments where I said, it is what it is, but we move. And today I was just sitting with it and reflecting on it and feeling like, oh, I didn't know how much I was sort of like shielding myself from actually saying, I feel upset, or I don't want my baby to be forgotten. And I feel like society has played a big part in this, and it's not to do with the people I was speaking to at the time, but just the fact that sharing quote unquote too much is exactly that. Like it's too much information. So at one point you should stop talking about it, whether it's something you're excited about, something you're wanting to share with other people, or if you're somebody who finds value in seeking community and talking about certain experiences that you can share perspectives on and kind of like trade um sort of like coping mechanisms with. And then after you've shared that initial talking point, you then go on to find other common interests. For the woman who is finding it difficult to actually find her community, finding a way to just be with yourself and shutting the world out and allowing your thoughts to flow out as they do without trying to change how they sound or trying to over edit the way in which you want to express yourself, but you're nervous, scared, worried about how your experience might be perceived by other people once you have shared it is going to be, and like what that atmosphere is going to be. The internal peace that you'll feel at one point, and it's not for me to say like how long it might take for that point to actually feel real for you, and you actually see the result of once you start to speak about it, things kind of change. But for me, I am sharing that protecting others while hurting yourself emotionally isn't helpful for anybody. It's not helpful for the people you're trying to shield from whatever it is that you want to say. And let's go with the topic of baby loss. You not talking about it allows the people who feel uncomfortable to not learn how to navigate that conversation. And it's not to say that that experience would need to happen again in order for that conversation to come up. But if you don't have the conversations and you don't speak up about your lived experience with baby loss as it's happening, or whenever you feel comfortable to do so, these people who feel uncomfortable, like the ones you are trying to protect, they continue to not know how to talk about baby loss. And then they go out into the world, they encounter somebody who needs a bit of support and a bit of understanding around grief in the workplace, for instance. And they then don't know how to navigate that situation. And then, because you have tried to keep everything under wraps, you're trying to hold it together, you are in a place where your inner world is imploding on itself, yet you are trying to seem calm on the surface. You then find it difficult to see that your experience matters. Over time, you begin to think that the way you speak needs to be curated all the time. And that can increase your anxiety around asking for help, saying, I don't understand this thing. Can I please have some direction? Or you might not even feel like speaking at all because you are worried about others judging you because of not only what you said, but how you said it. And then finally, for the loss and the little baby that once was, that story, that experience it doesn't always need to be told, but I firmly believe that in the same way that every living child matters, every child in the stars also matters. And in the way that a lot of parents and families celebrate birthdays, they celebrate moments that are open for laughter and presence, as in being there, and then the gifts kind of presence as well. But I feel like a similar wave could be applied here as well as you navigate baby loss. So the experience happened, but how you choose to move through it can impact how you feel about yourself and how you feel about the whole experience. This is what healing looks like for me right now. I believe that honoring your baby in the stars is just as important as celebrating children that are earthside. It's not a case of, oh, the baby's no longer here, we just stop talking about them. No, not in my world. Not when it comes to Washaya. Because behind every loss, or most of them, there is a woman and a family that are navigating it, even if they don't say anything. And then there are women who go to sleep. I've had women come to me in the middle of the night. They've messaged me and said that they cry themselves to sleep every single night. And I get it because I've been there. And those nights were where I allowed those tears to hold me when nobody else was able to, when I didn't have access to support that was actually going to support me all the way through what I was going through. And the tears also allowed me to honor my little girl's memory. So the idea of me saying for years, it is what it is, we move, that was the result of me not slowing down or having the time to at least pause for a minute to actually acknowledge what was happening in my mind and my body around baby loss. Because not only was it painful to think about, there were moments where thinking about it stung, and I'm not gonna lie, it still does. It always will. I just wanted my experience to be handled differently around what I saw and experienced in terms of support. And saying it is what it is, we move, meant that that was my, I'm going to call it the glue phrase. It's the thing that was holding me together, because at the time that I just defaulted to saying that, there wasn't anything. And I continued to say that for a while because I had no other option until Washaya came to be. So I I'm loving this process at the moment because I'm just existing and I'm being with my emotions. So I'm not judging what comes up, what comes out, and I'm breathing through it. So at the minute, I'm using the sound element as I just give the anger wave time to dissipate and take as long as it needs. I'm not trying to rush through this part of the process because I'm still committed to being present and aware of my surroundings and what is going on in my body. I'm committed to making myself more comfortable while I'm a little bit more fragile, but that's okay. That is more than okay. And another thing that I'm doing so far is just speaking to myself incredibly, incredibly gently. And I'm setting some very strong boundaries. I'm not over explaining why these boundaries exist outside of my boundaries are my boundaries, and that's it. I am also not wanting or desiring in any way to have any type of argument with people or confrontation around talking about my lived experience. Because I deserve to speak up. I tried healing in silence, and that didn't work out how society kind of made it to be. And it's just like, figure it out for yourself. Um, yeah, don't talk about anything that's going on with you, and just act as if none of that happened. Just don't react. Don't show any kind of emotional uh distress in public, or anything like that, because oh, you don't want people thinking such and such. No. Now I'm making this decision to speak up and healing out loud in all the ways, because this is something that is feeling good for right now. I want to be that go-to person who can help other women through this and other areas, but right now the focus is healing through baby loss. So I am just so grateful that I've had the opportunity to do something with my experience, because I can't think of anything worse than going through this and not having an outlet to share my story in, and to help other women to feel safe sharing their story, and not feeling like it needs to be cohesive or chronological. Like, just let it pour out of you. And if it doesn't pour out of you, that's fine. If it drips out, if there's a little sprinkle and then nothing, that's fine. Everything is welcome here in Washaya. Every space, you are held through whichever wave of your life and transformation and healing journey that you're going through. You're held. And I am so, so excited for what is happening, right? Because I feel different as I kind of have these little nudges of like, oh, you should just start talking about this thing, or you should talk about this other thing, right? And I don't necessarily think that this could have happened in terms of how I'm sharing my story. Like, I don't think this could have happened in any other way. And I'm now kind of like revisiting something that I said years and years ago. And I was saying it, but I said it so that when the time was right, my body would remember that I'd said it and I would feel it. And I feel like now is the time where I'm feeling what I said. And I said that in and around grief, there is magic. You just have to be patient, and you also have to give yourself the space and the time in order to witness it. Because if you're rushing around, you're moving really, really fast, time is just getting away from you, and you miss so much. And then on top of that, if you are disconnected from your body, you miss even more. Washaya is the magic that was birthed outside of grief and through grief. It wasn't planned. Like, I didn't plan to start a business and feel so connected to what I was doing. That was not the plan at the time. However, it is what it is, and it is magical. I feel so grateful for where I am right now, even through the tears, through the moments of being frustrated that things may not have moved as quickly as I wanted them to. But right now, I am just here and reminding myself that things have moved, and they're moving in the right direction. I am still learning how to hold multiple things at once. I am learning that it's not one or the other, it's not this or that. It can be at certain points, but right now, and how I seem to have been able to hold experiences in my life, it's been okay, this is the thing you're focused on. Oh, and then this comes in, but you don't have to drop the first thing. Oh, and by the way, while you're still holding these two things, there are a couple of other smaller things in the background. They're important too, but you just need to hold on to those two. And the main part of all of this is how I'm actually able to be available at certain times for each of those commitments. There are people behind those commitments who are a part of all of this. And I am I'm seeing the magic now, because instead of how am I ever going to make this work, my thought process is I can't wait until I see the result of all of this work, all of this play, all of this expression, all of this connection. I can't wait to see the result of everything that I'm intentionally doing right now, and all the intentional micro steps that I've done where I felt like it's not working. things are clicking, and my experience with certain elements and certain aspects of being intentional as the varying portals to creation open. I'm excited for what's next. I really, really am. And there is a level of clarity that I've not had before. And I've said that the fog lifts, but it's me actually sitting with the details and not necessarily needing to take action on absolutely everything right away. I understand that there are things that I do need to action, and I will. And I'm just following my body's nudges at every moment. If I need to stop, I will. And if I can still do what I want in the way that's going to add to my experience and just add to what I'm doing, like the work that I'm doing, the sacred work I'm doing, I don't have to get it all done right now. And these pauses, and I feel like this wave where I am right now, it's teaching me so much, and I'm just very, very grateful that I get to witness it, I get to document it, and I get to look back at this time, like maybe a year from now, and see what has happened. Thank you ever so much for spending time with me today. Until next time, I will see you soon.